My legs are hurting, guys. Like they really hurt. Today, we're gonna be learning how to speak French. Speaking French is what we're gonna do today.
Bonjour, je m'appelle Ingrid Dubreuil. Je suis enchantée de vous...
Get 29% off Ireland.
Je m'appelle Ingrid. Enchantée. Hi, I'm Ingrid. Nice to meet you. In this series, we are going to learn basic French expressions. It's super easy and it only takes 3 minutes. In this lesson, you are going to learn how to introduce yourself in French. There are only 2 sentences you need to do it. But first, it is important to clarify that in French, there is a difference between the formal and the informal language.
I don't even know what formal language and informal language is. I don't even know what that is. But whatever she said though.
Let's first see how French people introduce themselves in an informal situation. Salut, je m'appelle Ingrid. Enchantée de te rencontrer. Hi, I'm Ingrid. Nice to meet you. Salut, je m'appelle Ingrid.
Salut.
Nice to meet you. Salut,
Salut.
je m'appelle Ingrid.
Salut. Je m'appelle Franklin. I think that's how the French people say my name. I'm Franklin, but they say Franklin. Salut. Je m'appelle Franklin.
Salut, je m'appelle Ingrid. Enchantée de te rencontrer. Start by saying salut, je m'appelle. Then say your name. Salut, je m'appelle Ingrid.
Salut, je m'appelle Franklin.
Finally, say enchanté de te rencontrer.
Damn.
Je m'appelle Ingrid. Finally, say enchanté de te rencontrer.
Enchanté d'été. Non. Reload that.
Je m'appelle Ingrid. Finally, say enchanté de te rencontrer.
Enchanté de te rencontrer. Damn it, I can't. Salut, je m'appelle Franklin. Non, salut, je m'appelle Franklin. Enchanté de te rencontrer.
Je m'appelle Ingrid. Finally, say enchanté de te rencontrer.
Enchanté de te rencontrer. Let's
Salut, je m'appelle Ingrid. Enchantée de te rencontrer. And now, let's see the same sentence in formal speech. Bonjour, je m'appelle Ingrid Dubreuil. Je suis enchantée de vous rencontrer. Good morning, I'm Ingrid Dubreuil. Nice to meet you. Bonjour, je m'appelle Ingrid Dubreuil. Je suis enchantée de vous rencontrer. So, what has changed from the previous introduction?
Bonjour.
Let's take a closer look at this together. Salut has been substituted with the formal greeting bonjour,
Bonjour.
French for good day.
Good day.
Je m'appelle Ingrid has not been changed. Je m'appelle stands in both cases for I am. However, during a formal self-introduction, we always say our last name, so I said Ingrid Dubreuil. Here, you would say your full name. Finally, pay attention to the ending. We went from te rencontrer to vous rencontrer. What is changing is the French word for you. In a formal sentence, we use the more polite word vous. One more time. The informal way to introduce yourself in French is salut.
Shush. She's not teaching me. Formal way is salut, je m'appelle Franklin. Enchanté. No, salut, je m'appelle Franklin. Enchanté de te rencontrer.
Je m'appelle Ingrid. Enchantée de te rencontrer.
De te rencontrer. That's good enough. That is good enough.
The formal way to introduce yourself is bonjour, je m'appelle Ingrid Dubreuil. Je suis enchantée de vous rencontrer.
Okay, wait. Bonjour, je m'appelle Jesus. Enchanté de vous rencontrer. Bonjour, je m'appelle Franklin. Je suis enchanté de... Bonjour, je m'appelle Franklin. Je suis enchanté de vous rencontrer. Salut, je m'appelle Franklin, enchanté de te rencontrer. Bonjour, je m'appelle, je suis enchanté de vous rencontrer. Okay.
Now it's time for Ingrid's Insights. When you introduce yourself, it's a good habit to shake hands in France, and if you are not sure whether to use enchanté de te rencontrer or enchanté de vous rencontrer, just simply say enchanté, as I said at the beginning of this lesson. If you use the correct sentence with French people, they are definitely going to be impressed. In the last lesson, we learned how to introduce ourselves in French.
Okay.
Today, we are going to learn how to use good manners as we thank people.
Okay.
Vous êtes prêts? Are you ready? Alors,
prêt.
c'est parti. So, let's start. There are several ways to thank someone. Let's start with the easiest. It is just one word.
Okay.
Merci. Merci.
Merci.
Merci means thank you.
Merci.
When saying thank you very much, you just need to add beaucoup. Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Merci beaucoup. Beaucoup means a lot. So merci beaucoup is like saying thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
During the last lesson, we mentioned both the informal and the formal way of speaking French. Merci is the casual way to thank someone. If you want to be more formal, there is another phrase you should use. Je vous remercie. Je vous remercie. Let's break this phrase down. Je is I, and vous is the formal word for you. Remercie means give thanks. I give thanks to you. Je vous remercie.
Je vous
How do you
remercie.
answer? It's
Shut up. Let me just relax. Give me time. Je vous remercie.
I give thanks. Formal word for you. Remercie means give thanks.
Remercie.
I give thanks to you. Je
Merci.
vous remercie.
I
How
see.
do you answer?
AMS, what's up, man? How's it going?
It's easy. There are basically two different ways to do it. The first is
Yo, MS. Wait, MS. Wait. Je. No. Salut, je m'appelle Franklin. Enchanté de rencontrer. Oh, damn it. I can't get it right. I'll get it.
de rien. De to do it. The first is de rien. De rien. De rien literally means it's nothing, but it is the equivalent of you are welcome.
Ah,
The other way to say you are welcome is the expression je vous en prie.
je vous en
Je
prie.
vous en prie.
Je
Literally,
vous en
this
prie.
phrase means I beg you to do it.
So, de rien. You have to say, oh yeah, enchanté. That's what I said. I said enchanté. And I said, je vous. Where am I again? Je m'appelle Franklin, enchanté de te rencontrer. That's what I said. Enchanté de te rencontrer. I think I got that right. I think so. Wait.
Or
De rien, je vous en prie. You're welcome.
please do, but it has become a common and polite way to respond to someone thanking you. So when someone saying merci to you, we can simply reply with de rien or je vous en prie.
Je vous en prie. Bro, I need to have that accent. Je vous en prie. Je vous en prie. Je vous en prie. Je vous en prie.
Now it's time for Ingrid's Insights. If you're not sure about whether to use merci or je vous remercie, just keep it simple. Sure a bit.
Je vous en
Now
prie.
it's time for Ingrid's Insights.
Okay.
If you're not sure about whether to use merci or je vous remercie, just keep it simple. You don't have to worry about formal or informal situations. Merci can be used with just about anyone, anywhere, or at any time. In the last lesson, we learned how to be grateful to people by saying merci. In this lesson, we'll learn some of the other most common greetings used in France. Vous êtes prêts? Are you ready?
Yeah.
Alors, c'est parti. Let's start.
Alors, c'est parti.
The most used informal greeting is salut. Salut. Salut means
salut.
hi, hello, or goodbye. We use it when we meet, but also
Oh, so I can also go. Salut, je m'appelle Franklin. Salut, je m'appelle Franklin. Enchanté de rencontrer.
when we leave. We should only use this greeting with friends and family. And now, let's continue by discussing the formal way to greet people. The one you are probably used to hearing is bonjour. Bonjour. Literally, bonjour means good day. However, we may also
I take Sunday with hi. Can we, in particular, check your translation after its completion? You only check my translation when you use vous. It's when you speak with a person older than you. So when you're speaking older person, where should say vous? Je vous un peu. So if it's not someone that's older than me, I just say they rein. How should you say it?
common and polite I beg, je, say you are welcome, equivalent of de. The first is de rien.
Oh, de rien. De rien. Je vous en prie. Yo, when you use vous, it's when you speak to other. Okay. Je vous en prie. Je vous en prie. Thank you. Thank you? I think so. I think I said that right. Check your translation after its completion. Arctic, what do you mean? What do you mean check my translation after its completion? What do you mean? Oh, you want to test me to see if I learned anything? Is that what you're trying to say?
Formal way to greet people. The one you are probably used to hearing is bonjour.
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 Literally, bonjour means
Hello.
good day.
Oh,
However,
good day.
we may also interpret it as good morning or good afternoon.
Okay.
As a rule of thumb, we can use bonjour only during the daytime, from morning until evening. During the evening, we say bonsoir.
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 Soir is French for evening.
Evening.
So bonsoir means good evening.
Bonjour.
Bonjour
bonsoir.
and bonsoir are used when we meet someone, but when we leave, we don't say them again.
Okay.
In this formal situation, French people use au revoir.
Au revoir. Bye bye.
Revoir.
Bye bye.
Au revoir means goodbye.
Bye bye.
Finally, in French, we have an expression meaning see you soon that can be considered both formal and informal. À bientôt. À bientôt.
À bientôt.
Now, you can greet people in many different ways in French. Let's review them all again. When meeting someone informally, we say
When you meet someone informally, you say
salut.
salut. Okay.
When meeting someone formally, we say
Je-
bonjour
oh,
or
bonjour.
bonsoir.
Bonsoir. Okay.
When living in a formal situation, au revoir.
Au revoir.
When living, no matter whether it's formal or informal situation,
À bientôt.
à bientôt.
À
It's easy,
bientôt.
isn't it?
À bientôt. I got it.
Now it's time for Ingrid's insights. In formal situation, French people commonly greet each other by shaking hands. On the other hand, if we meet someone we are really friend with, we kiss each other on both cheeks. Don't be afraid to do it with your French friends. It's normal. In the last lesson, we learned the most common forms of greetings in French. Do you remember them?
Yes.
In this lesson, we are going to learn a very useful phrase. Do you speak English?
Yes.
If you find yourself in a situation where you need assistance in English, this phrase can be a lifesaver. And because you're asking it in French, you can be sure that everyone will understand what you're saying, even if their answer is no. Here's the informal way to say it. Est-ce que tu parles anglais?
Hey.
Est-ce
Est-ce pas.
Here's the informal way to say it. Est-ce que tu parles anglais?
Est-ce que tu parles anglais? Est-ce que tu parles anglais?
Est-ce que tu parles anglais?
Est-ce que tu parles anglais? Est-ce que est-ce que tu parles anglais? Est-ce que tu parles anglais? Est-ce que tu parles anglais?
In French, verbs change depending on the pronoun that is used. Please notice the word tu in the middle of the sentence. Remember that this is the informal way to say you. The next word is the verb parler, which means to speak. Because it's referring to tu, it's conjugated to tu parles. Est-ce que is an interrogative form to introduce the question. It is similar to the English word do here. And you probably recognize anglais, that is English. Est-ce que tu parles anglais?
Est-ce que tu parles
To learn how to properly conjugate verbs like parler, please look at the Absolute Beginner series on FrenchPod101.com. You can find very detailed grammar lessons and resources there.
Est-ce que tu parles
We are now going to make this sentence formal. First, we need to use the formal version of you, which is vous. If we change the word to vous, we will conjugate parler differently. It becomes this, but it's pronounced the same way. Parler.
Parler.
Est-ce que vous parlez anglais?
Est-ce que vous va-
Est-ce que vous parlez anglais?
Est-ce que
Adding excuse-moi et que vous parlez. Est-ce que vous parlez anglais?
Est-ce que vous parlez anglais? Est-ce que vous parlez anglais?
Est-ce que vous
Est-ce que vous parlez anglais? Est-ce que vous parlez anglais? OK.
parlez anglais?
Parlez anglais? OK.
Adding excuse-moi, excuse me, the sentence becomes even more polite. Excusez-moi, est-ce que
Excusez-moi.
vous parlez anglais?
That's the one I know. Excusez-moi. That's the only one I know. Excusez-moi. That's legit the only one I know. Excusez-moi. Excuse me.
Excusez-moi, est-ce que vous parlez anglais?
I mean that will your translation / broadcast about French remain available? I mean that will your translation / broadcast about French remain available? Yes, it would. Yes, it would. Yes, it would. 100%. It would be. It would still be available. I don't know why that took me so long to register in my head, but yes, it would still be available. Why? Why? Why do you ask?
There is excusez-moi, est-ce que vous parlez anglais?
Excusez-moi.
The-
Shh. I got this. Excusez-moi. Est-ce que tu parles vous un pas? Damn it. Excusez-moi. Est-ce que ah. Excusez-moi, est-ce que vous parlez anglais? There we go. There we go. Now I'm talking. Excusez-moi, est-ce que vous parlez anglais? I'm him. Excusez-moi. Est-ce que vous parlez anglais? Est-ce que vous parlez anglais?
The responses you will receive could be one of these three. Oui,
Oui.
yes. Oui,
Wait.
un peu, a little. Un peu. Non, je ne parle pas anglais. No, I don't speak English.
Je n'ai pas anglais.
Non, je ne parle pas anglais. Since this last one is a negative statement, we need to say ne before the verb, parle, and pas after it.
Non, je n'ai pas.
Notice that the verb parle is slightly different from parler. Remember, the verb changed depending on the pronoun used. We are now talking about je, French for I, thus I don't speak is je ne parle pas.
Je n'ai pas le
Now
anglais.
it's time for Ingrid's insights. For those of you who are not only English speakers, you can obviously use this question with any other language you need. French people study other European languages at school, so maybe you will get lucky. Just substitute anglais with English, Italien for Italian, Russe for Russian, Espagnol for Spanish, Allemand for German, and any other languages. In this lesson, we mentioned the expression excusez-moi. But did you know that this could also be used as an apology? In the next lesson, we will learn this and other ways to apologize in French. It's never too late to show your good manners with French people. I'll see you in our next Le Français en 3 minutes. À bientôt. In the last
I thought it was done already. I was like, bro, what?
lesson, we learned the phrase excusez-moi. Est-ce que vous parlez anglais? Excuse me, do you speak English? We mentioned the word excusez-moi, which means excuse me in formal French. In this lesson, we are going to learn how to use excusez-moi and other words when apologizing in French. We should use excusez-moi in formal situations, such as when you are ordering something in bars or restaurants. For example, excusez-moi, un café s'il vous plaît.
Wait. I think I know this one. Excusez-moi, un café. Excusez-moi, un café s'il vous plaît. I think it means, excuse me, is my coffee ready? Excuse me, is my coffee ready? I think I got this one. If I don't get it right, I'm gonna shut up.
Excuse me, a coffee please. Excusez-moi.
I was close. Is my coffee ready? Excuse me, a coffee please. I was close.
Un café. Excuse me. For example, excusez-moi, un café s'il vous plaît.
Excusez-moi, un café s'il vous plaît.
Restaurants. For example, excusez-moi, un café s'il vous plaît.
Un café s'il vous plaît. Excusez-moi, un café s'il vous plaît. Excusez-moi, un café s'il vous plaît. Thank you for your answer. Why I asked you just so I don't have enough time to check your translation fully, and I'm Russian, so it's interesting for me. Okay. I like that. Yeah. But the thing is, just so you guys know, whenever I do live streams, oh my god, whenever I do live streams, if you guys go to my video, let me show you guys. If you guys go on here, if you guys go on video, so you guys will not be able to see the live stream. You guys have to go to live. You have to go to live to be able to see my live streams. But yeah, pretty much. But yeah.
Excuse me, a coffee please. Excusez-moi, un café s'il vous plaît. We can also use it when asking a question. Excusez-moi, où est la Tour Eiffel? Excuse me, where is the Eiffel Tower?
Ooh.
Excusez-moi, Tour Eiffel? Use it when asking a question. Excusez-moi, où est la Tour Eiffel?
Excusez-moi, où est la Tour Eiffel? Excusez-moi, où la Tour Eiffel? Excusez-moi, où est la Tour Eiffel? Excusez-moi, où est la Tour Eiffel?
When asking a question. Excusez-moi, où est la Tour Eiffel? Excuse me, where is the Eiffel Tower? Excusez-moi, où est la Tour Eiffel? Sometimes we also hear people saying s'il vous plaît, which means the same thing when you want to draw somebody's attention. We always use this phrase in formal speech. S'il vous plaît. The informal way to say excuse me is excuse-moi. Excuse-moi. Just like excusez-moi, we can use excuse-moi when asking a question or when apologizing. We can also use the word pardon. You might hear this phrase translated as forgive me in English, but it's not formal or strong at all. French people use it in very casual situations. All of these phrases can be used for either excuse me or I'm sorry. But if you really want to apologize for something, it might be better to use a different phrase. That phrase is je suis désolé. It means I am sorry and can be used in both formal and informal situations. Je suis désolé. First, we have the familiar je or I. Next, we insert the French word for to be, être. When this is conjugated for je in French, it is suis. Finally, we have the adjective désolé, meaning sorry. Je suis désolé. Now it's time for Ingrid's insights. Please remember that in France, if you accidentally bump into someone, we don't say I'm sorry. Je suis désolé. Instead, we say excusez-moi. Excuse me. Or
I got it. I got it. I'm him. I'm him. I'm him.
instead, we say excusez-moi. Excuse me. Or pardon. Forgive me. Are you able to count in French? In the next lesson, we will learn the numbers in French from 1 to 10. I'll be waiting for you in the next lesson, le français en 3 minutes. À bientôt pour la prochaine.
Want to speak real French from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime
Why she tell me à bientôt? Where's she going? Where's she going? À bientôt.
account at FrenchPod101.com.
What does learn some words used when apologizing in French, including excusez-moi and je suis désolé. In this lesson, we are going to learn numbers in French.
Okay.
Yes, numbers, les nombres,
Le nom.
from 1 to 10. And you are going to learn them in all.
I know the French from 1 to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Only 3 minutes.
I think
3 minutes.
3,
Are you ready?
3,
Let's start. 1,
1,
1, 2,
2,
2,
2,
3,
3,
3,
3,
4,
4,
4,
4,
5,
5,
5,
5,
6,
6,
6,
6,
7,
7,
7,
7,
8,
8,
8,
8,
9,
9,
9,
9,
10,
10,
10.
10.
Okay, now repeat after me. I'll say the numbers and give you time to repeat each one. 1,
1,
2,
2,
3,
3,
4,
4,
5,
5,
6,
6,
7,
7,
8,
8,
9,
9,
10.
10.
Great job. So what is before 1? Do you know? It's the same as in English, but with a different pronunciation. Zéro.
0,
Zéro.
0.
You don't have any more excuses. You can give your friends your cell phone number in French. Let's try together. We'll use the phrase mon numéro c'est le, which means my number is. Mon numéro c'est le. Mon numéro c'est le 3 3 7 1 2 2 4 9 6 8.
Oh,
Can you read it by yourself?
mon numéro.
3 3 7.
I know my. Yes, I do. I know. 3 is 3. 7 is 7. 1 is 1. 2 is 2. 4 is 4. 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 6, 7, 8. 9 is 9. 6 is 6. 8 is 8. Boom, I'm him.
Can you read it by yourself? 3 3 7 1 2 2 4 9 6 8. Perfect. Now it's time for Ingrid's insights. When we go to the post office in France, we sometimes have to stand in line with a number.
Okay.
When it's your turn to check out, they scream numéro 1, numéro 10, and so on.
Numéro
Learn your
10.
numbers well so you can be ready. In the last lesson, we learned the numbers from 1 to 10.
Okay.
Have you forgotten?
No.
Here, I'll tell you again.
I haven't
1,
forgotten.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now, let's continue from 11. 11,
11,
11,
11,
12,
12,
12,
12,
13,
13,
13,
13,
14,
14,
14,
14,
15,
15,
15,
15,
16,
16,
16,
17,
17,
17,
18,
18,
18,
18,
19,
19,
19.
19,
And finally, we have 20,
20,
20.
20.
Okay, now repeat after me.
Wait, let me try. Let me see. 11, No. 11.
I'll say the numbers and give you time to repeat each one. 11,
11. Okay, got that one right.
12,
12. Try.
13,
Oh, 13. 14.
14, 15,
Coins.
16,
16. The next one is 17, 18, 19, 20, 20,
17,
17,
18, 19,
20,
20.
20, oh, 20.
These numbers may seem harder to remember, but you really just have to memorize 11, 12,
12,
13,
13,
14,
14,
15,
15,
16,
16,
and 20.
20.
But for 17, 18,
18,
19, the numbers always start with 10 or 10.
10.
Let's not stop at 20. Counting from 10 to 100 is super easy. Now I'll give you the tens.
Okay.
30,
30,
40,
40,
50,
50,
60,
60,
70,
70,
80,
80,
90,
90,
100.
100.
While you have to memorize a few of these numbers, there are a couple of tricks that will make memorizing them incredibly easy. Notice that 60 is 60 and 70 is 70. Do you remember what this means? Of course, it is a number for 10. So 70 is simply 60-10, 70. 70. 80 is 80.
80.
Can you break this down?
No.
The first part, which we learned in the previous lesson, is 4. The second part we learned earlier in this lesson. What does it mean? That's right, 20. So altogether, saying 80 is like saying 4 20s. 4 20. And 90, 90, is just like 70. Add 10 to the number before. 80 plus 10 is 90. 90. 90. The last thing to learn today is how to form compound numbers above 20. This is also super easy. Take the tens and simply add the numbers you learned in the previous lesson. Let's try it out. How would you say 56 in French? Let's take it step by step. 50 is 50, and then add 6. 56. It's done. Isn't that easy? Let's make another number. For instance, 98. Take 90, 90, and add 8, 8. 98. One last tricky part. If you're trying to add the number 1 in the compound number, for example 21 or 31, you need to add an E before 1. 21 is not 21, it is 21. 31 is 31. After only 2 lessons, you're now able to count to 100 in French. In the next lesson, we are going to put your number knowledge to use. Do you have the skills to go shopping in France?
Yeah.
If not, I'll be waiting for you in the next lesson, le français en 3 minutes. À bientôt pour la prochaine.
À bientôt.
In the last lesson, we learned how to count in French. I hope you spent some time practicing the numbers because they will come in handy today. We are going to learn how to go shopping in France.
Okay.
Before we go, you need to know how to say, how much is it? Combien ça coûte?
Combien ça coûte?
Combien ça
Combien ça
coûte?
coûte?
Are you ready to go shopping in France?
Combien
Let's
ça
go.
coûte?
You see something you like and want to ask the shop clerk how much it costs. The first thing to say to a shop clerk is, Excusez-moi.
Excusez-moi.
Do you remember what that means? Excuse me. Excusez-moi, combien ça coûte?
Combien ça coûte?
Excusez-moi,
Excusez-moi.
combien ça coûte? If you want to be more specific when asking how much is it and refer to a certain type of object, we first need to drop the word ça.
Ça.
Next, we need to know if the object is a feminine or masculine object. If it is masculine, add se when referring to it, or set for a feminine object. and then say the noun. For example, hat is a masculine word. Chapeau. Excusez-moi, combien coûte ce chapeau? Excuse me, how much is that hat? Excusez-moi, combien coûte ce chapeau? And skirt is a feminine noun. Jupe. Excusez-moi, combien coûte cette jupe? Excuse me, how much is this skirt? Excusez-moi, combien coûte cette jupe? At this point, the shop clerk can answer by saying ça coûte, ça fait, or c'est. For example, ça coûte 39 €.
Hey,
Ça fait 39
wait.
€.
I got this.
Or, c'est 39 €.
I got this. 39 euros. It's 39 euros. I got this. But wallahi, this is the answer.
What number is 39? I'm not telling you. Okay. It's 39. It costs 39 euros. Now it's time for Ingrid's insights.
I'm him.
A quicker way to ask how much is c'est combien,
C'est combien?
which literally means how much. Even when you ask for a coffee, you can ask the cashier, un café c'est combien s'il vous plaît? One espresso please. How much is it? At this point, can you count euros in French? We are going to learn how to do this and much more in the next lesson. I'll be waiting for you in our next lesson, le français en 3 minutes. À bientôt pour la prochaine leçon.
À bientôt. Au revoir. Au revoir. Au revoir.